Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm just here really to bring you my latest junk journal and also a tag bag which I've made. So I'll quickly do the tag bag first. So obviously if you've watched my videos before, you may be familiar with my tag bags that I kind of make here. They're just basically exactly as they are described. Let me move that right out of the way, sorry. They're just a bag in the shape of a tag. It's just got some ruffle down there and a little bow. This is one of my little printables from my ladies garden kit, and that's that. It's secured with this satin ribbon trim, and inside the tag bag are 10 different tags for you to use in your projects. Idea being obviously that, you know, it's just nice to kind of have some tags ready made to be able to grab and pop into your journals. So I will just go on to kind of show you. I won't bother showing you the backs of the tags because they're all obviously just on plain cardstock, so I won't kind of, you know, bore you with the backs. So the first tag is a smallish tag. It's in this gorgeous polka dot paper, and then it's got some floral paper over it, a little postage stamp with this little stamped image overlaid. It's got some ribbon trim and a little flower, and then I've just stamped some script around on there, and that's been coffee dyed and also distress inked. The second one is this one, which is some decoupage napkin onto some sheet music, and then a couple of stamped images, a little butterfly image there, and then a bit of lace trim down the bottom, and again it's all been distress inked, so that's that one. The next one is this really large tag. Again, it's just some scrapbook paper which I've inked up with some blue ink and also some, you know, distress ink of the, oh gosh, what's vintage photo, I couldn't remember the name then, around on there. And this is just a piece of vintage ephemera that I've scanned in and photocopied, so that's that. And I've just kind of distress inked that in blue, and then selected some blue stamps, vintage postage stamps to pop there. Some stamped images here of these clock faces, and this is again another one of my little printables. And then a little stamped image of a butterfly with a flower there and a piece of lace, and the flower is just stapled on. The next one is a smaller tag. It's again just been distress inked around the edge. It's got some doily. It's got one of my printables there, just kind of torn and placed on there. And then it's just got a little piece of fabric as the tab, and then some fabric here coordinating with the tab, and a stamped image here, stamped image down the bottom, and a little flower there. So that's that one. This one, again, it's quite a large tag, and it's got basically, it's one of my printables, which I've fussy cut, or fussy tore, then some flowers there, and stuck that onto there. I've stamped an image there, which I've stuck on. Another stamped image down here, and then a couple of books, not books, words from books. Autumn Cherry, which I believe is this flower here, or plant. And then Astonishing Beauty down here, and then it's just got some lace trim, and then it's just got a ribbon tab. Then this one here, this has got the fabric again, it's got another stamped image and postcard stamped image there, and the fabric again going across the tag and also as the tab there, and it's got some book page there. That's that one. Then this one here, this is again a smaller tag, and it's just got some scrapbook paper, distress inked, a little ticket, one of my little printable pieces. So these are just kind of torn off of some of my printables, and then it's got some book page, couple of stamped images, and a little Martha butterfly, and I've just stamped some details around the edge, and then I've just done a little bow there in some ribbon. This one again, this is some decoupage napkin, and it's got then some doily across there. It's got a piece of my printable again that I've just kind of fussy cut out. A stamped image there of a ticket, a little butterfly and a flower, and then some ribbon trim. So that's that one. And then here you've got quite a large tag. Again, it's just some scrapbook paper which has just been distress inked. Another piece of one of my printables, and then some book page, the word beautiful, And then here just a flower from a vintage book page, which I've just put onto some cardstock and then stuck it on there. And then here, Do All Things With Love stamped image and a Martha Stewart butterfly. And again, it's just got some ribbon at the top. And then the final tag here, this is a fabric tag. So this is some vintage curtains, the main fabric from kind of the 80s. And they have been stitched onto this cardstock. And then you've got some stamped image down here, some vintage lace trim, and then some fabric here, not vintage, but just some fabric stuck on there. And then here, Keep Smiling Because Life Is Beautiful and There's So Much to Smile About, stamped image there, and a little flower. And then you've just got this coordinating fabric as the tab at the top. So that's your tags in the tag bag. So that will be listed in my shop as an item, obviously as a tag bag. So I'll pop that to one side. And then my latest journal, which I have also completed another journal, so I'm hopefully going to do that within the next day or so as well, but just kind of see how I get on time wise really. So this one here, I did finally remember to bring the tape measure with me. It's 17 inches by centimeters by 23 centimeters, and it's basically bound with some organza ribbon, which can just be kind of moved completely out of the way. This in a soft, pretty kind of blue colour. And basically it's an envelope, you know, cover, which has been covered then in this gorgeous fabric, which was gifted to me by Laura. So that's that, which has obviously been stuck onto the envelope. And then you've got some ruffle down the edge here. And then I've just added 2 little vintage buttons onto a bulb pin, which are attached to the ruffle. So that's those. And then going inside to the journal, of the journal, I've got here a book page pocket with here a lovely vintage image, which has been layered up on some coffee dyed cardstock, and you've got some ribbon trim. And then I've just popped a doily here, and it's got some lace trim down the side and a couple of crocheted flowers. And here's some decoupage napkin postage stamps. And inside the big page pocket, you've just got a little kind of fold out of some coffee dyed paper. And then on the next page, you've got corner pockets here with some lace trim down the side. This is part of my Ladies Garden kit, which I've just torn kind of a section. And then I've popped on this little kind of stamped image and a stamped image of a butterfly here and another crocheted flower. And some doily behind, and then inside that pocket I've just got a fold out kind of flip from just some double-sided scrap paper, so obviously journaling space in there. And again, this has got another couple of images from my Ladies Garden digital kit, which I've just fussy torn out and then glued them down, distress inked everything. The paper's been coffee dyed, and then put some lace trim across there. That goes in there. Now this journal was a bit of a kind of different journal for me, because normally I try and do my journals very matchy. They're kind of all the similar colour schemes throughout the whole journal. And this one I think is probably the first journal that I've ever done really that's a complete range of colours and what have you throughout the whole journal. So it was kind of an experiment for me. It was fun to do actually. It was, yeah, definitely a challenge for me, because normally if kind of I've used greens and creams, that's how the whole journal would be. So this was kind of a move away from that, but I did have fun with it and I love how it turned out. So I hope that you guys really like it. So on this page here, I've obviously got more of that green paper, and then I've created here just a tuck spot or pocket, again using some more of this green scrap paper with again some more of my Ladies Garden kit piece that I've just glued down with some doily, a bit of lace trim here and a flower, stamped image of the word wonderful, definition of the word wonderful. And then up here I just made a teeny tag and I've just held it on with a little brad with a vintage postage stamp and a flower. I just thought that coordinated quite nicely with the image here from the kit. So I just thought that kind of added some decorative interest really. And then I've just got a fabric ruffle. Sorry, my throw is moving every time I move the book. a vintage ruffle, not a vintage ruffle, sorry, a fabric ruffle at the bottom of the page. I'm just going to move my tripod up slightly. And then tucked in behind there, I've just got a stamped image of a postcard, which is plain on the back for journaling. Then on this page, I've got here another one of my printables, which basically I've just got some lace trim, some faux de monte, and a little crocheted flower up there. And then here I've got some doily piece, and then I've fussy cut some flowers out here, a couple of vintage postage stamps, and this is the corner tuck spot, behind which I've just got a little journaling card with, again, some of the printable from my Ladies Garden digital kit. It's backed onto some book page, so here you've just got copyright reserved. Obviously that's not referring to my stuff, that was just from the page in the book. On the next page, again, this is another one of my digital printables. So I've just literally popped it on as a kind of pocket or a tuck spot. It's got some lace trim and a little flower, a bow and a ticket. And it just literally is kind of down there as a kind of corner tuck spot. And then I've just got a fabric ruffle down the bottom with some faux de monte down there. Little frame up the top and a little flower there. And then tucked into here, I've just got a book page. This was part of a book that I received from a swap that I did from Jessica Rapp. So I just kind of tore that out and thought it went really nicely on this page. So thank you, Jessica, for that. And that just goes in there. And then here I've just cut out another one of those flowers and just popped it on here. Then you've got some empty-ish pages for journaling, some sheet music, and here you've just got another piece of that My Ladies Garden digi kit down the bottom, which I just stuck on there. And these are just coffee dyed pages, just blank for journaling. In this one, I've just made a little pocket down the side, and I've just got some lace trim. This was part of the lace gifted to me by Laura recently. It was the lace that was kind of holding the fabric. Then I've just got one of my little button embellishment pieces. And then tucked in here, I've just got another one of my printables. So this is just literally glued onto this little card, and I've got some off again. Then it just ties with the piece of string, but inside you've obviously got plenty of room for journaling, and obviously you've got the back there as well. So I'll just retie that like that. That just slots in here. Then going over the page, I've got another one of my printables, a little frame and some lace trim down the side, a bit of Diamante, and that's just on an envelope, which there's nothing actually currently in there, but obviously you could pop some stuff in there. And then just here a little journaling spot. And then on the facing page, I've got here some more fabric ruffle, and then I've just made an envelope pocket. So it's a pocket at the top where I've just got this little tag that I've made. That just slots in there, and it's also a pocket in the side, and this is just again one of my little printables, and it's just on some paper, and it's just been coffee dyed, so that just goes in like that. Then over the page here I've got again a corner tuck spot with various elements layered up, and then tucked in there is another digital printable, and that just literally folds into thirds and just tucks up like that. Then I've just got some more sheets of the coffee dyed paper, and I've got some doily, some baking paper, more coffee dyed paper, and some book page, more coffee dyed paper. Then this page, I love how this page turned out. I mean, again, for me this was kind of a move away from my normal journals, which are very you know, matchy colour wise, so you know, this would have been definitely a no-no normally, to have kind of a completely contrasting colour to obviously what has previously been used, but it was obviously that this is double-sided paper, and this just happens to be on the back, and I just love this colour. It's just the most vibrant kind of magenta or something. It's really striking. This is one of my printables printed onto cardstock, and I literally again, would not ordinarily necessarily put those two colours together, but when I held it against this magenta colour, it just looked so vibrant and so striking that I just loved it. So I've stuck that on, making a kind of corner tuck. I've put some vintage, not vintage, I keep using that word, fabric ruffle down there again, and a little bow. And in there, there is again another piece there that just tucks in like that. The centre of the journal, now I love, love, love this page. It was kind of, I was toying with it for a long time whether or not to do this, because obviously I have used the same paper as the actual page itself for the embellishments, if you see what I mean. So I kind of toyed with it for a while, deciding whether or not to use it, but I actually absolutely love how it turned out. I mean, I love this paper, it's just so pretty. So I know it seems a bit of an overdose of this, but I just really loved it. So on this side, I've obviously got an envelope, which I have made here into a little kind of tuck spot. And you've got also a little flip there that you can journal. I've got some lace trim and a couple of stamped bits. And then I've obviously picked up the paper from here, so pop that in there. Just made a little journaling tag there, put some lace trim on the top, so that tucks in there. Then behind here, I've just got one of my printables again, which just tucks in there. And then on this side of the page, again using the exact same paper, I've just created a little kind of fold out booklet, which I had popped this in. I thought I was going to do it as a pocket, but no, I haven't. So yes, I've just tucked this in here. So this obviously folds out. You can obviously journal in there. You could add some extra pages if you wanted, but to be honest, you know, you may find it a little bit too bulky like that. So I just rather liked it as is. I have bound it with some baker's twine in this pretty blue, which kind of matched. And then here I've just got a file folder, which again I've just distress inked. This is again just from my Ladies Garden kit. This is large size. Now I don't know whether you can actually kind of resize the kit itself. This was obviously part of my prototype when I was kind of playing around making the kit. The ones that I had printed out and then didn't use, because when I went with the final kit I made this smaller. So I don't know whether if you were to purchase the kit whether you would be able to make this in this size or not. You may be better at resizing things than me. But if not, you could certainly photocopy it and then upsize it on a photocopier. But that's obviously I have then just tucked in to here, which I just thought looked rather pretty. Then going over the page, obviously we've got that other side of that beautiful magenta colour, and I've just made a little tuck spot, again another piece from my Ladies Garden kit, and here we've got a little postcard just tucked in like that. And I just thought this image looked really lovely on this stripy paper with the doily, and then I've just got some coffee dyed distressed kind of lacy trim and a bow, a flower and some faux diamante down there, and then some lace trim here. Then we've just got some more coffee dyed pages, obviously the other part of that book page, the baking powder, the baking paper. I just bought some baking powder earlier, so I'm obviously thinking of that. Doily and the other piece of book page, coffee dyed paper. Then here I've just got a corner tuck spots, various elements layered up and some lace trim. And again, I made a really large tag here, just in the coordinating paper, and just layered up various elements on here. So you've got lots of journaling space on the back. Then on the back of that page, I have got here just another kind of corner tuck spot, some lace trim and a little bow. And then tucked into there, this is just some vintage ephemera that I bought. And I've just literally photocopied it and coffee dyed the paper and just folded it over to pop in there. That's dated 1938, that piece. Now here I have got another piece from my Ladies Garden, and basically what I've done is I've kind of made a little flip out which is attached to this. So this is kind of a pocket but also a little fold out flip. So this is just some paper, and then I thought I would pick up this image, from the kit and just kind of pop it on there. And it's got a doily piece, and then it's got a stamped image there. Not a stamped image, sorry, a piece from my printable postcards, which I just tore out and then glued it onto this lace here. And that just goes up like that, and it tucks under the butterfly there to kind of hold it shut. And then it's also a pocket down here, so I've just got a little postcard just printed onto some photocopy paper and distressing, and that just goes up there. On the next page here, I've just got one. Camera flicked off again. I've just got one of my laminated pieces here. So again, this is just some doily, some vintage image here, and it's just literally glued onto this beautiful scrapbook paper. And I've just got a fold out flip of some coffee dyed paper with a stamped image. That just tucks in there around the laminate. Then I've got some ribbon here, a bit of fabric ruffle, some lace trim, couple of postage stamps, and one of those beautiful frames up there, and a little bow. And then here, this is another one of my little postcards onto some coffee dyed paper with just some lace trim and a little bow. That just tucks in because, sorry, I forgot to say, I glued this down as a pocket. So I've glued it down on the 3 sides, and that's a top loading pocket. So you've got the top loading pocket, and you've also got the acetate kind of flip there. Then I've got some more coffee dyed paper, the other bit of that sheet music, and obviously coffee dyed paper. Then here we come into the end now. We've got a little pocket which I made using, again, one of my printables. I've just put here a little stamped image of a clock and a piece of vintage doily, some lace trim, and a little piece of flower from some vintage lace, and then a fabric ruffle down here, some doily, and then here another one of my little printables on some coffee dyed paper. And then going over the page again, another one of my printables there with some lace trim, and that's just acting as a corner tuck spot for this beautiful stamped image here of this lady. So that's just blank on the back for journaling. That just slots up there. You've got a little tiny bow at the top, and then you've got here a stamped image here of a kind of journaling spot, and then some lace trim and a little crocheted flower. Then here you've got another book page pocket, and it's got again another beautiful image here of this gorgeous kind of stately home. And then inside the pocket you've just got another one of my postcard images onto some coffee dyed cardstock, and in the side you've just got a little tag there that I've just got some layered up bits and bobs and some lace at the top, so that goes in the side. And then here we're finally at the back of the book. I've got here a little pocket, which again, it's got some of my printable there and some doily, stamped image, a couple of flowers, and some more of that gorgeous lace. And then inside there, you've just got a little kind of fold out booklet, which I made again using some more of the My Lady's Garden kit, which has all just been distressed and just pops in. And then we're finally on the inside of the back cover, so hurrah! Again, this is a very large pocket here. It's again taken from My Lady's Garden kit. So basically what I've done, I've paper clipped on this here. So obviously you've got an altered paper clip with some lace details on there. And this is just literally some scrapbook paper, which happens to be plain on the back. It's coffee dyed. I have popped on some decoupage napkin image onto some vintage book page, and then some lace trim down the side, a bit of velvet kind of trim, and some faux de monte and a little flower. And I just obviously used that because this polka dot paper is the same as this. So I just thought it actually was quite nice to have it kind of contrasting on top of here. I've just popped a stamped image here of a little kind of journaling spot, and then some fabric ruffle down the side. So that paper clips on, oops, up there. And then here I've just got another one of those certificates of baptisms, which I like using. Actually, this one is quite torn, which I hadn't noticed that. So I just want to kind of point that out, but it's all coffee dyed. You could possibly do something kind of with that. I hadn't noticed that, I'm afraid, so I do apologise. If I remember, I will swap this out, but I can't guarantee it because obviously it's dinner time. So by the time I finish this, I'll have to kind of go and finish making the kids dinner, and then I may well forget. So I'm just going to kind of point that out now, but I will do my best. And that just tucks in obviously behind there. So that's that. And then obviously it shuts. It's just the plain fabric on the back, and yeah, the plain fabric again on the front. So that's the journal. I haven't really thought of a name for it as yet. I will think of a name before I list it in my shop, which it will be listed in the shop before I upload this video, but I haven't actually photographed it yet, so I will do that shortly. Yeah, so I hope you liked it. I hope you liked the tag bag also, and hopefully I'll be back shortly with some other videos. So thanks very much for watching and have a great day. Thanks, bye.